Hey, Dan, Brad, what happened today in the markets?
Hey, Scott, thank you very much for the intro and the polls. We appreciate you getting everything going. How's my audio sound to you?
You sound pretty good to me.
All right, all right. And Brad, you sound pretty good to me. Barry, cheers, and thank you for helping out as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are grateful for the time that you give us. And what an incredible 45 minutes to an hour we are about to embark upon. I'm going to show you some amazing things. I can't brag, I say that it's going to be the best one ever. It could really be.
We always leave that as an option, right?
We leave that as an option, but there's going to be some amazing things I'm going to show you because I'm going to give you some, sometimes until you see it, you don't believe it. Okay. So, all right. Before we get going, a quick disclaimer.
I mean, maybe last week was the best one.
Last week was really good because it
Well,
showed
you weren't there.
In spirit.
But it was good, yes.
Okay. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor, and all the information that you're going to hear from myself or any member of the Trade Ideas team is for informational and educational purposes only. If you're looking for specific registered investment advice, okay. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, so we are in our 17th year of operation. We run this firm strictly on your subscriptions, meaning that we are not venture funded. We have no outside investments by anybody, especially anyone from China. Not that we're prejudiced in any way, shape, or form. Or any kind of venture capital that influences what we do. We are made in the USA, and we have been very successful because of you. As a result, we've been featured in the Inc. 5000 as one of the fastest growing in the USA. And I think that our product is above the norm of what you need. See, Brad, you and I discussed this yesterday when we were just in meetings talking about how most people don't really understand that they need a Trade Ideas technology that streams and lets you see anything in real time until something like this happens where the market just changes and you realize, oh my gosh, I can't just sit there and look at like a static page that doesn't update in real time. We're doing things that other vendors don't do, and we are made in the USA, so that's just something for you to keep an eye on. The stock market is our battlefield, and we are your weapon of choice for success, and I'm going to be demonstrating that today big time. Okay, so look, Brad, this Q&A session is designed to take you beyond the technicals. And what I mean by that is that sometimes opportunities come that are not almost, but sometimes, and again, we don't know when those times are, but there are opportunities that are once in a lifetime opportunities. Brad, wouldn't you agree?
Well, we're in the midst of one right now.
We are definitely in the midst of one. Let me talk about that for 1 second. Number one, everyone, you guys should know that the market has never, ever, 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 ever really traded with this kind of point volatility. Percentages, there's been some similar stuff, like only during the Great Depression and only for a couple of weeks in 1987. And of course, you had some of the dot-com bubble days, and also 2008 percentages gigantic. But points, forget about it. Okay, there's more point potential now than you could ever, ever, ever even contemplate. But to that extent, I want to give you something to think about. Is everyone able to see and understand the arrows that I'm pointing to here? Because I'm trying to give you a sense of why we are in a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The market is, yes, Sherry, you should be hearing something. You should be hearing my voice. Somebody help her. The market is sometimes irrational, okay? And when the market is irrational, we have an ability to take advantage of that irrationality as traders and investors who are making our own decisions. Let me explain a little bit about that. So, and Brad, as you know, The US stock market primarily is managed by very few people because mostly it's in the hands of the 401k and the money managers and the mutual funds. We as people, we go to the mines, and we mine for the dollars and to feed our family. But when we invest, somebody else is doing it for us, always. Okay, and these people, and it's in relative terms, it's a handful of people, are managing gigantic positions. So there's a lot of this buy and hold business, and the buy and holders do not know how to handle what's happening now. They just don't. They hope. And so it's buy and hold and buy and hope. But we as investors are able to move in and out of positions and take advantage of information dissemination that has never existed before. Let me give you an example. American Airlines, and I'm not a researcher in the sense of like being a Goldman Sachs guy that analyzes balance sheets, nothing like that. I want to keep it the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. Do you see, Brad, that arrow that points to cash?
Yes, over on the single stock window on the right. Yeah, $3.83 billion.
And what is the arrow right above there pointing to?
The market cap, just
Yes.
a little bit above that, like $1 billion more, not even quite.
Right. So somehow with this whole pandemic virus and whatever, somebody was trading the end of the world. So in essence, American Airlines, forget its business, forget its employees, forget its brand, forget the airplanes, and forget any hope that we will ever bounce out of this. Here's where we are right now. Think about that for 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, not only that, but you've got people who are actively still betting against this company. Now, listen, again, I'm not saying this company, like this is my favorite company. I'm just giving you some perspective to think about here, okay? So here we are. American Airlines is trading for cash. In other words, again, forget the airplanes and the buildings and the terminals and the traveling and everything. We are in a trade mode where the end of the world has been kind of like sort of priced in to some extent. I mean, there's just a ton. Brad, get your calculator out. What's that multiple of cash it's got? 1.2?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so the reason I'm saying that we are beyond the technicals here in this Q&A webinar is because number one, I'm going to show you how to find similar opportunities, but I'm going to say, look, these kinds of things, these are the things that make it so that you potentially can build wealth like you've never imagined in your life, okay? There are people who in 2008 bought Amazon for, I'm going to say $40, $50, let's call it $100, Brad. Okay? And during this whole pandemic, they didn't really flinch, did they, Brad?
Not really. Well, they were still providing some very good services, right?
Well, they were, but I'm saying even the price action. What I'm saying is that, I'm using Amazon as an example, is that if you are in something at 100 and you are able to stay in, and by the way, why are you staying in? Well, because it's running up. See, that's the thing, traders, and this is one of the most important things that you need to understand as an active investor. You don't need to get out of something necessarily just for the quote unquote, boom, I'm a day trader. You can let things run. If somebody got into Amazon at 100, and that thing gapped up to 112, and then the next day traded down to 108, and then the next day gapped up to 130, well, guess what? You might not need to get out of it. Then it runs in a way that you could never out-trade it. And that's what I'm trying to get you guys to see, the possibilities and the opportunities that are being presented for you here. And also, what fuels the fire, Brad? The short flow. Brad, why does that fuel the fire?
Well, there are a ton of people short, and when this stock starts to move up, they're going to start to feel the pain, and that's going to require them to exit their position, which is going to cause it to go up even further.
Right. So you got to imagine for a second, right? Here you're seeing a number, 17%, roughly speaking, short American Airlines right here and now. Okay. So that means if you're looking at a float of 42 422, let's call it 400, just to round it out. You're talking about almost 80 million shares that are betting against it. So when those 80 million shares start to purchase this thing, well, guess what's going to happen? Other investors who want to buy are going to be coming in, and it's what's called fueling the fire. Okay, so my job today is to pinpoint you and show you that we are in different time frames, different opportunities. This is not just about the day trade, it's much bigger. Okay, that silent war is in the stock market. Okay, what does it mean? It means that, look, the USA is doing something. Some people don't like what it's doing, and they're doing things against it. Here's an example of and again, you can kind of break it down into three things, but I'm just going to give you very high level stuff. And again, I'm not an analyst, but I want you to think. Okay, I want you to expand your thinking. You've got energy, transportation, and construction. These are like foundational kinds of things, right, Brad? Without that, you can't have trucks that deliver food to the stores. You can't build the stores without the materials, and you can't, if you're not transporting and all that stuff, everything fails. So I'm giving you like high level stuff. So here's a company, just one of many, right? California Resources Corp, which in March, so we're in April, right? So a month ago, it was trading somewhere around let's call it $7.50, right? And if you think about where it is right now, it's dropped 700% because again, if you're long this stock right here, right? And if it goes back up to 7.5, Brad, you got 700%. Now, remember what I just told you about fuel to the fire. Brad, what is this right here that I'm pointing to, 42.04? Talk to me, Brad.
Well, that's just a tremendous number of people have taken a short position on this stock right here. When you take a look at the float, that's the number of shares that are issued minus the shares that the insiders have. So you've got just such a huge percentage of that group that are short the stock right now.
They're just all short. Now, look at that little arrow that talks about revenues. So does this company have revenues? They do.
2.69.
So I can't even do the math to figure out what the multiple of revenue is because it's not a multiple, it's a divisor, right? So once again, it is like you are given these once in a lifetime opportunities, and you now understand, because you came to the Trade Ideas webinar, that there's fuel to the fire and how these things work. And I'm going to show you through technology how to find other things like that. And I'm also going to show you that everything that I've done here is something that not only am I showing you to demonstrate, but I'm actually also doing. Okay. So are you guys all ready to enjoy the show? Here we go. All right. So number one, tell me, Brad, is everyone able to see my screen? Mike, somebody give me a quick heads up.
Yeah, we can see your desktop. Like you're on the Brokerage Plus channel.
That's right. So you guys know that we have a way for you to trade with Trade Ideas through interactive brokerage, and very soon we will be adding E-Trade and Alpaca. And of course, so critical for you, we also have an ability for you to practice. And I've done, for those of you that have been here, by the way, I've talked to you that even myself, who, and relatively speaking, in relative terms, Brad only, I mean, you would say that I am an experienced trader, wouldn't you say?
I would definitely say you're an experienced trader.
Okay. But don't you remember how a couple of months ago when we were in our webinars, what was I doing as an experienced trader? I was in simulation mode. Why was I in simulation mode? Well, because I myself, right, wanted to work on some technique. And Brad, you and I have said this multiple times. Tiger Woods, how many, he changed his whole golf swing a couple of times, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did.
And this is a guy who, I mean, this is, by the way, I mean, very critical thing for you guys to put in your mind. Here's a guy, Tiger Woods, who has won I don't know how many, tournaments, right? And all of a sudden he says, you know what? I want to do something different. I want to improve, change my swing. I'm going to go to the range and practice. Now, I'm no Tiger Woods when it comes to trading. I'll be the first one to tell you that, okay? It's not. But same as Tiger Woods, using our simulated trading mode, I started to get into things and practice things in our simulated trading environment to help me get a feel, okay? And by the way, that paid gigantic dividends for me, because look what's going on right now. By the way, this account that I'm up $9,000 in today, it's $54,000 account. It's not a gigantic account because, again, we do things to relate to people. I know there are rich people out there. You could have $1 million and whatever, but here, let me just for full disclosure. Sure. Everybody can see it. Does everybody see the interact? So this is interactive brokerage. So this is the way when I trade through Brokerage Plus, I'm able to, number one, make sure everything is connected and right. But here I am, here's the account. Look at my percentage gain today. Brad, do you see that?
It's a good number.
It's a good number. Let me explain to you, you guys have probably heard of this thing called alpha. Alpha is a very good thing to understand because what it tells you about is you versus the market. So today, and again, let me just quick give you an example. Here is the S&P. It did great. How much did it go up, Brad?
I was on mute, sorry. 3.5% almost.
That's right. And the Dow Jones, and also 3.5, and NASDAQ, 3.5. This is typical. They all typically move kind of in unison. But me, hold on a second. I want to explain to everybody how it all works. So see this number right here? So in reality, you would take my percentage gain, which is 20.68, subtract 4% from it, and I have 16% of alpha. Brad, is that a good explanation?
Just learned something there, yeah.
Well, Brad, don't tell everybody you're supposed to know. Okay, but I want to make sure. I want to make sure you guys know. Whoa, Brad, what's that?
Well, you are on a dev version. I have no idea.
Hold on, everyone.
You can get over that. You can just go ahead and continue. Yes, change your channel, and you'll be fine.
See, this is why Brad's here. Hold on, everyone. Hold your horses while we're winning. There we go. Okay, back to where we were. So my point is, if you were just in the market today, you would have made 3%. That would have been no alpha. That means you're just in the market, invested. 3% in one day is amazing. But we're in the business of unusual returns. We're in the business of helping investors find things and capture returns that are way, way, way bigger than that, okay? So that's what I want to talk about today. So once again, I want to show you how, okay, we approach things and what you're able to do. And and it's the same kind of concept. I'm trying to find ways, I was trading Bank of America a little bit on this run, I think, but I didn't catch all of it and I didn't catch the top. And when it came back and I saw that this low was higher than this low, that's one sign. It doesn't mean everything at all, but it's one of these pattern recognition things that let me get into this right here. And here I am holding at a higher high, like everything here. Somebody like Barry, who's in our trading room all the time, talks to investors and helps them understand just the basic mechanics. But right now, I have no incentive really to get out of Bank of America because everybody who's bought here is feeling pretty good and they want to test the waters. You want to let it work itself, because if it starts to run, again, it's kind of natural place is right above here. Here you have the panic, 25, to 22. Panic. So what we are doing here, see this whole area, this incredible turbulence. This whole month from March through where we are now is a very turbulent month. If we can get above here and start getting into here, 25, well, again, now I'm in a totally different environment. Okay, I might not need to sell it very quickly.
I think that's what you were talking about, our ability to, several days go by, weeks go by, jigs in the market that occur naturally just don't affect you.
Exactly. And that's where, and by the way, and adding that $9,000 worth of equity to the account, right? Well, it gives you, guess what? More buying power. So tomorrow I will be able to buy some more stuff and experiment and do some things. Okay. But I want you to know that you were able to do and find these opportunities with our technology in a very interesting and easy way. Okay, so I'm going to go to this trade right here. Okay, I love this kind of stuff. Okay, so once again, remember, we were all in the same boat. We know that there was immense panic in the market. The oil industry was almost set up to get destroyed. I mean, again, that's the best that I can tell you is that it seemed like somebody was just out to kill the whole energy sector. I don't know who it is, that's above my pay grade. They're still involved, still short. So notice again, I have that fuel of the fire, right? But look at this. And again, Barry will tell you what we have here is called a base. This is called base building. Base building. It's built a base and now it's starting to go. And then look at here. Psychologically speaking, if we can get to here, we are in a different area. So, you guys, if you are Trade Ideas customers, if you're not, you should be. This is it. I mean, guys, you got to understand, we are in opportunities work for you forever to build wealth so that this can be a wealth generator for you and your family. So let me show you how that can be done in a very interesting, powerful, and keep it simple way. Now, Brad and I have demonstrated tons of, I'm really not scratching the surface on this Q&A because these Q&As that we do, we try to keep it kind of more down to earth and also demonstrate once again with real money that it can be done. You can do it, people. You can do this. This isn't some magic. It's just idea generation and risk management. So OVV, crude and oil petroleum, boom, I hit on similar. Guys, for everybody who's watching this, start looking. So look, WTI. Notice how it's kind of doing a similar thing. You're seeing this pattern. What is your percent return from 2 to 6? It's 300 SM. Wow, this one is just like the one that Dan's in here, OVV, but it hasn't quite started yet. Let's take a look. No short. Interesting. Okay, and I'm not saying like you don't necessarily need a lot of short per se. Maybe it's just because they have no cash on hand or something. But revenues of 1.5 billion and a market cap of 160 million. Again, this is a very unusual kind of behavior. So going back to similar, the similar tab is so powerful, you guys. More, look at this move. So what I'm saying is that you see, like, I'm going to expand this out. See how we had this kind of, if I was to cover up this day, and all of this right here, what you're actually seeing is kind of similar stuff. That same basing and then breaking out. Look at the volume, right? So GBR, it was all over my new highs and lows today. Let me go to history. I'm going to go to real time. Whoops. Today. So you can always see like what's going on, and GBR, GBX is another one that we'll get to. Notice the similarities in these patterns here. This one, behaviorally speaking, is now kind of above that area. So people are really liking what's going on here. And all you have to do is just simply go to the similar tab. So once again, I'm going to go back to OVB, okay? And here we're finding some of these names. I mean, you can just kind of go through them and say what looks the most appealing to you. Look at these.
And you can even sort on the headers right there. If you want to do change from the close or relative volume, you can rank that list for yourself.
That's right. Where is it? Let's go change from the close. Love this. Again, similar tab. That's it. The same thing, by the way, with if you go to American Airlines, right, and take a look at what you got there, and you can see that there's lots of other similar Spirit. I mean, again, makes money and it's trading at under cash. I mean, again, throw the airplanes away, Brad. Who needs to fly?
We're done flying.
We're done flying. I don't know. Well, have you guys noticed while we've been talking, I made like almost $1,000 in after hours. Okay. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is, at the very high level, the similar tab is so potent and powerful because if you find whatever it is you find, so let's say you find like XAN, okay? And you like this pattern, then you can go right to the similar tab and see what its competitors are doing and see if you can find something else. Okay, well, look, here you go. There's just no better way to just simply get to it. And again, and you can 1-2, this is like a boxing match, right? A mental boxing match where you can 1-2 from anything you see here. So on this page called Shall We Play a Game, which is your standard layout for using Brokerage Plus, whether it's in simulation mode or in real mode. And I actually use the standard stuff, Brad. I didn't really add anything to it. But when I see things right here, here's the therapeutics names, right? And I come in and I'm like, well, let me see. Okay, wow, this thing is looking very interesting. Well, what about this? What's going on? Okay, so this is way more volatile. You know, that scares me, right? Because here I'm like, okay, well, all these guys are already, all the feelings, we're in completely different modes. So I'm like, okay, I don't need to worry about that. What about this one? Aha! Like, aha! Do you see? Now, this one, I see the potential, right? From 3 to 6, possibly. And notice I'm not writing any code. I'm not doing any kind of like formula editing and scripting. I'm just going like, hey, this thing's making highs. I mean, you can imagine, right? So here's the stock, Brad, right? Does MRSN, which is, let's see, what do they do? I mean, focuses on developing antibody drugs, okay, for respiratories, all virus related. But by the way, I mean, this is what's so beautiful about the stock market. Would you know that you were even in a panic, Brad, during this thing? And by the way, nice call, TI, over here. I mean, boom, from this call to this high. I mean, you had the overall market getting annihilated, and look at this move it's making in the last 2 days. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, this is really the definition of alpha, right? When you've got something at 5 and it goes to 9, and you had like 10,000 shares. I mean, that's what I'm shooting for. Look at this, it happened in 2 days. Brad, pounding the table.
A lot of opportunities out there, that's for sure.
So many opportunities. So again, think about this, okay? I mean, minimize this for just a little bit. OVV, I mean, guys, ladies, gentlemen, all other genders. You've got a stock here at $4. It's about to fill. Barry, I hope you're putting this in your list for the room. You've got this gigantic gap at 563, and I mean, it was at like $20 in February, guys, from 20 to 2. You know, 10 times your money is not 100%, that's 1,000%. I don't tell you about that when you want to take your money in the wealth management world. They want to sit you down and talk about your goals and focus. you know, if we can average 2%, 3% every 10 years,
5%, could you imagine?
5%, you know, guys, come on. Mike, I like your style. Maybe I should make it all gold. Let's see if we can get this after hours above 10,000. But my point here, really, guys, is I want to lead by example, right? If I didn't do any of this, and by the way, in terms of leading by example, don't do this. Don't be long 100,000 shares of a stock. Obviously, you know, only $5,000 worth of risk. But you know, you can't really exit this thing until something happens. So, and that something could be, this is a cannabis stock. So, you know, again, I like to mess around a little bit here and there. You know, somehow, in a weird way, Brad, this thing's trading, I think, for better multiples than American Airlines. In terms of cash to whatever, to market cap. So you have to trade within yourself. I want to show you other names that are looking amazing, guys. How can you not be attracted to this chart pattern? Brad, how can you not be? And look, it teases you like it did here. But we're in a different environment. I mean, this is why risk control is so key. You know, here, you know, on the third or fourth day, I mean, the bottom line is you need to be able to exit and maybe get back in if it starts to go. I'm not saying they make it easy for you, but sometimes, man, you got these once in a lifetime kind of opportunities where it goes and it could, once again, just like that other one, right? OVV, this is another petroleum play. I mean, I really think petroleum is in play. So that's what I really want to communicate here is that you don't have to look far. You just have to go to the similar tab, right? And that similar tab is going to show you other things. And look at the beauty of these patterns, because your eyes will go, wait a minute, I see this. Dan is helping me see things I've never seen before. Is it that easy? Can it be? Yes, it can. Is it always? No, it isn't. They're designed to not make it easy for you, but at the same time, you can take advantage of a move. Remember that, you know, these things have been beaten down a lot. Okay, this whole move from 6 to 1, right? You're going back up to 6 from 1. That's 600%. I want you to think about that again in terms of, you know, that versus what your mutual funds are doing and what your wealth management is telling you. It's a completely different game we're in right now. There's no wealth manager, no financial advisor, nobody that has any idea what's going on. You can throw them out the window. Okay, honestly, you really, really could. You can throw them out the window and rely on yourself. Be independent. Think for yourself. Okay? And you can have so many opportunities, and the best part is that, Brad, you know, we have so many different ways to do it. Like here, I can spot something, right? I can put it in my channel that is all the stocks that I like, and I can just give myself a heads up, like right here, and I can say, heads up. Yeah. So now I've got an alert. So if this thing starts to run, I'm going to minimize it. Maybe I'll bring it up over here. Get rid of this guy right here, 146, right? Because then what happens? Look at these percentage. It's all about capturing alpha is about percentage moves, you guys. Okay. What if they open restaurants again, Brad? What if we're ever allowed to eat out at a restaurant? Who knows?
Who knows? You might end up going to Cheesecake Factory or Steaks. I mean, we do have to eat, right?
At some point. At some point, we might have to. So what I want to do is I want to simply get you guys to see, okay, that we've got the powerful technology, yet the very simple technology. Remember, we showed you that all of our we have this channel bar. It's such an amazing channel bar. And again, I haven't even gotten into the AI or anything like that because again, there's only so much that I can show you. But if you're just looking for the winners and what's running, right, you can go to this channel, and we were already on there here once again, and then boom, what are the other guys doing? I mean, there's the similar tab is your ultimate powerful pattern recognition tool. And let me see something real quick here. Oh, they got $1 billion in cash. So once again, these guys, real estate guys, oh, is that a REIT? It could be a REIT, I don't know. But they're trading for less than the cash they have. So I'm gonna.
I mean, the REITs have just been truly hammered.
Destroyed. Okay, so let's go and create an alert here and say, it's alive. Do you guys love the ability to just do it simply instead of being like this, you know, myth, right, Brad? The myth of that you have to be doing these quant derivative blah, blah, blah. And now it's all bullshit. I mean, we do a lot of science on the back end to bring you this data, but look at what I'm doing here. I'm giving you simplistic visual patterns that, you know, look, from here to here it's almost 100%. Yeah.
You know, and I'm really surprised when I look at my own style of how I use trade ideas. I use the price alerts tremendously, and so using a combination of the channels and the windows that I like with the price alerts are really kind of the 1-2 punch that I find effective. But yeah, there are just so many different ways that you can use this tool.
So many different ways, and again, notice the similarities. You know, Brad, I'm not a big, you know, me being a flat earther, I'm not a big fan of satellites, Brad, you know, but wait, did I just say that? But still, doesn't matter. You shouldn't be prejudiced against unusual returns. What's going on here? You know, let's take a look at that. So once again, same thing. Space trade. Okay.
Probably hears it sometimes. He's probably doing your webinar with it sometimes.
Hey. I'm like, is Mike in my house? So once again, similar, and look, not a lot of similarities, right? I mean, not a lot of similar stock, but once again, keeping it simple is the key. If you can figure out a way to work through these kinds of like panic modes, you set yourself up. You set yourself up for life. You know, that's what trading is about. Trading is about giving yourself an ability to let your money work for you versus just only working for your money, which is primarily what everybody does. Everybody works for their money, but trading, what we are here for, is letting your money work for you. Let it go to the office. Get in there, get in the office, money. Do something. So let me, in summary, what I really want to focus on for this Q&A is, and again, as we're approaching the end, is very simple. Number one, we're in the most exciting, unusual, and opportune market environment that has ever existed. Nothing like this has ever happened before. You've got the best technology with trade ideas to take advantage of it, and you don't have to keep it difficult, because just using the similar tab, you can right away find that beautiful pattern recognition. And these beautiful patterns are not happening in just like little, in just the small stocks. You've got them in things like American Airlines and to some extent Bank of America as well. Yes, Adib, it's the similar tab is only on the downloadable version, but it will be available soon on the web-based version, so that's coming. Brad, how are we on questions? What else? Because again,
I think we're caught up.
Okay.
Yeah, we're caught up.
All right, guys. So let's then conclude with our good friend Barry. Barry holds our trading room. It's open all the time, and he's not only moderating the room, but he's also trading for himself using real money. There's a whole meritocracy of very good investors who know how to use trade ideas there. And I highly recommend anybody who's using our software to at least give it a try to make sure that, again, something that you're doing is something similar to what these guys are doing because they're good at what they do. And it's very easy to get access to it, trade-ideas.com/trading room. We have our daily support sessions, okay, trade-ideas.com/live every day, right, Brad?
Yeah, every day.
Every day, so no one's alone. You really get a chance to to see how professionals that use this tech interact with it, and you're always supported. So Jeff, I was explaining beyond the day trading, but it's the same thing. During these support sessions, you can get ideas about day trading techniques. But what I really try to say is that day trading in and of itself is really not a term per se, but is really a form of risk management, right? You are into something and then you exit because you're afraid that when you get out, if you were in it in the morning at the open, that it would be much lower. That's really what it is. Okay, but in terms of active investing, there is no technology that even comes close to trade ideas for day trading, because it's the same thing. We stream things live. You can have a window that's showing you 10-minute highs as it's happening.
But to be fair, to be fair, Dan, you do both types of trading. It's not like you sit there and do swing or investing or anything like that.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I'm sure you got out of some positions today. You closed out some that you probably even initiated. So it's really about keeping the positions that you feel are worthy of keeping, and trading, short term and longer term, the combination of them.
Absolutely. I mean, again, to me, it's just a form of risk. You're managing your risk, and it's what you can tolerate. If you don't want to be in the stock market overnight because you think, like, for example, a pandemic could happen, which it just did, well, then, I mean, you can definitely take all of your profits or losses, but be aware that when you come in flat, well, then you don't get a chance to ride the gap up or any of the things that happen overnight. So you would have to then get into it, and then there's this emotional aspect. I mean, Brad, we've all battled the, oh my gosh, I missed it. That's just as prevalent as everything else. So many of the channel bars that we have, in fact, let me just go real quick here. I'm going to exit out of here. Right back here real quick. Hold on one moment. We have a specific channel bar, Jeff. It's called, what is it called? Experts only. I know it's somewhere. Brad, where is it? Do I not have it?
Yeah, experts only. There it is.
This is designed really for very, very active day traders. Okay. And here you have biggest bounces on losers. So stocks are down, they're coming back. Pullbacks on winners. Just unusual explosive volume. Here's your biggest things that are running during the day. And once again, remember, you find something here, you can see it on the similar tab. And then the whole notion of day trading is then obviously about risk management. If you're in something, you're positive, you either take some off the table or you let it run. I mean, it's that simple. Dave, the term necessary is kind of funny. I mean, we think it's necessary because you're getting ideas from the AI and it's giving you everything. It's teaching, it's like your personal trainer. So like, remember I was talking about Tiger Woods before. Now he is an amazing golfer and spends a lot of time in the range, but he works with coaches. Butch Harmon, was working with Tiger for a long time. The AI is like your coach. It's looking at your trades, but the way it's coaching you is by giving you examples of what to do and then following the proper rules. Like the AI does not have the capability to lose big. Brad, why?
Well, because everything has risk management and stop losses associated with it.
Correct.
Go ahead and pull up the Omni AI channel. And I don't know how you have your system set to, whether you're trading 100 shares or dollars. Looks like you have dollars, so that's good.
Yeah. So this is what the AI was doing today. So you can kind of take a good look. So let me see, tools, options, AI size. So I was trading, I mean, again, in the AI mode, I buy $2,500 worth of every position.
I was going to say, do the risk-based stop, because I think that shows some pretty good returns. And this is an interesting way to approach it and look at it. And that is basically sizing your position so that if in fact you were to get stopped out, you'd only lose $100. So it's a pretty interesting way to approach it. And go ahead and save it and see how that affected your profitability.
Dang, Brad.
Yeah, so it's because you had a nice aggressive percentage winner on there, and the stops were pretty tight.
So good. So look at this trade. Dave, is the AI necessary? You bet your butt it is. Okay, Adib was asking, how do I get the experts only channel on the TI Pro web? Brad, do we
do this? Hey, Adib, I can't make a channel, but what I can do is I can go ahead and save you a cloud link, and you can save that to your system. The channels are a little more structured for the web, and that particular channel, the experts only, has a lot of different windows in it, so it's not really set up to be structured for the web. But send me an email, brad@trade-ideas.com, and I'll shoot you back the cloud link.
James, yeah, I love James's question. James, for everybody, asked, well, what subscription level do you need this tab, the similar tab? It's available on every subscription level. Because again, that's not the thing where we want everyone to have this, whether you're standard, pro, or whatever, so you can find stuff out. So it's available for everyone. We do not disparage at all regular subscribers. Not everybody needs the AI specifically. That's a premium version of the product. But if you want to see what we're really trying to do with the software, I mean, there's no better example than this right here. All these trades are generated non-human. They're through mathematical stuff. And here's the other thing. I mean, our AI scientist, Dave May, wrote a really nice kind of dissertation. Paul, I'll discuss that in a second. And he was just talking about how, because the market is so different right now than it's ever been before, you have to apply more recent data and use that more with more significance, meaning that our AI right now is studying the market and relearning in a better way than you could probably ever. And we're constantly working behind the scenes to make it even better. So, again, this is really, and by the way, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 day trades in the AI today. And the AI, by the way, never holds anything overnight. It either gets out on the close or through other risk measures. So that was the other question, how is it for day trading? For day trading, there's nothing better than the AI. So we are a subscription service, okay? And for artificially intelligent software that manages every trade on the stock market and gives you opportunities the way we do, we might as well be free. We're better than Robinhood. Here's how much it costs per day, standard, and per day, yearly and monthly. So we have two types of subscriptions, monthly and yearly, but here we're just showing you what it is per day, so you can kind of get an idea. How much are you really spending on this AI every single day? Premium, you're spending $7.50 if you're paying monthly, and $6.2 if you're paying yearly. So, I think it's about as good as you can get. And of course, for those of you who want to take a look at the software right now for the first time, there's never been a better opportunity in the stock market. April Holly, all caps, gives you 15% off the first month, or the preferred option, 15% off a whole year at Trade Ideas. Okay. We do a podcast every Friday. Sometimes it's myself and other guests, and we do rotations. Please search for that in your podcast search engine. And of course, we do other things like giving you ebooks to help you understand different categories of trading. We have an amazing ebook that was ahead of its time called What Happens After the BFD Market, right, Brad? Where we were talking about short selling.
BTFD.
BTFD, yeah, BTFD. I forgot the duh. So there was a whole other, so many subscribers learned before they even got started that you should be taking advantage of the downside, and were able to actually make some money during this whole debacle where the market got obliterated. Nothing better than making money when things are falling. And in the stock market, you have that opportunity. It's the best place to ever be for that kind of stuff. We are very active on social media. Please like us on Twitter, on Facebook, on every other book, and every other, and Insta. That's Instagram, Brad. I'm young. And you can always call us or shoot us an email at info@trade-ideas.com. We rely on you guys. You are our venture capitalists. Thank you so much for your support and your subscriptions, and we hope to see you again soon. Scott, I think we're good.
Yep, sounds good. The recording will be up soon, and you get an email notification tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.